Movie buffs, welcome back to the Movie Bay. This is D. In today's video, we're going to do a movie battle between Cujo and Man's Best Friend. We're going to find out which one is the better movie. So let's go over each movie. So we got Cujo. This is based off of a Stephen King novel. This came out in 1983. I got some notes here. So this came out in 1983. It has a runtime of 93 minutes, which breaks down to 1 hour and 33 minutes. We have Man's Best Friend. This came out exactly 10 years after Cujo. This came out in 1993. It has a runtime of 87 minutes, which breaks down to 1 hour, 27 minutes. And the crazy part is, both movies are about St. Bernards. Big ass St. Bernards. They're pretty much, it's a lot of differences, but a lot of similarities between Man's Best Friend and Cujo. Cujo came first, so if any similarities, it'll be basically Man's Best Friend biting a little bit off of Cujo. But let's dive into this real quick, because both movie, they're very similar, but they go about it in different ways. So let's start with Cujo first. So Cujo, again, based off of a Stephen King novel. It came out in 1983. Cujo is about a dog, a family pet, that I do believe Cujo was bit by a rabbit. I want to say it was a raccoon. He was bit by a rabbit creature, and he started changing. He started becoming rabbit. He started becoming he had almost like demonic strength. He became very feral. The total opposite of what Cujo was. Everybody knew and loved Cujo in the community. As the sickness or whatever it was, the influence started taking over Cujo, he started changing. You just start to see heavy saliva coming down his mouth and stuff. Very scary stuff. So basically, the crux of this film is Cujo basically turned on his community. He turned on the family, and a big part of the movie takes place in a car, the family's car. The mother and the mother and the daughter, the mother and the son was trying to get away from Cujo, and they went into the car, and the car wouldn't start, so they were stuck there. They couldn't get out because Cujo was out there. He was trying to break into the car to kill them. This movie was incredible. Very, very tense. Very good movie. I do believe it was the first of its kind. This movie, you can find this on Blu-ray. I'm not sure if there's a 4K for this, but you can find this all day on DVD. You can find it on Blu-ray. It's readily available. So let's slide over to Man's Best Friend a little bit. Okay, this came out exactly 10 years after Cujo. This came out in 1993. And it is a St. Bernard. I do believe it's a St. Bernard. They could be Great Danes. I'm not sure, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong on the breed. I do believe they are the same, though. Whatever they are. They could be Great Danes, St. Bernard. I get St. Bernards and Great Danes mixed up. I know they big as hell. So the dog in Man's Best Friend name is Max. So Max is basically he's a science project in a genetics lab, okay? I think the science lab is called Nugenics or something like that. And there's a scientist there. Max is a crossbreed. It's like a hybrid. But he's got the DNA of different animals in him. He's got chameleon DNA. He's got owl DNA, jaguar DNA. He's like a science project. And what it is I'm not sure if they was crossbreeding him to make him into a military weapon or what they was going to do. I know the scientists did say in the right hands, Max can save hundreds of lives. In the wrong hands, he can be a dangerous weapon. And that is true. So what happens in this one is there's a news reporter who breaks into the lab to get a story. You know how the reporters are in these movies. They'll do anything to get the story. And she came across the dog, Max, who was, now, at the time, Max was under his medication. Max has to stay on a certain type of medication to keep him from fragmenting, keep him from coming apart, because he's got a lot going on. He's an amalgamation of all different types of DNA sequencing. So when she discovered Max, he was very calm and docile. He was in his cage. He was under his medication. Somehow, I'm not sure if she took the dog. I got to watch this again, but either way, the dog ended up with her. And the scientist came looking for the dog because he knew if the dog didn't get his medication, it would be a huge problem. So Max came home. He was jealous of anybody who wanted to be around her. The dog was, it was a very good movie. There's a scene where Max chases a cat up a tree because remember, he can climb because he has jaguar DNA, and you can actually see his claws extend to go up the tree to chase this cat. And I'm going to give you a spoiler here. He swallows the cat whole. Okay? This movie's been around for a long time. If you didn't see it, I want you to see it, but that's a spoiler right there. This movie left, the ending of this movie, I'm not going to say exactly what happened at the end. I'm not going to give you that. Left it open for a sequel, and I'm surprised we didn't get a sequel, but I'm quite sure after 1993 to now, we're not going to get it. It's not coming. So that's, you know. So now it's time to put these movies together and see which one is the better movie, if we can. I'll do it like this. So Cujo is a classic, a Stephen King beloved classic. I'm not going to say it's underrated. Man's Best Friend is extremely underrated. I don't think a lot of people even heard of this movie. Now, I had this movie back in the day on VHS. I never actually owned Cujo or no format. I've seen Cujo quite a few times, but I never owned Cujo. But I did own this on VHS. True story, I actually bought this. I remember when back in the day, I used to buy my VHS tapes from street vendors. They used to hustle on Germantown Avenue. For those of you who live in Philly, you know about Germantown Avenue. I bought a copy of this off a street vendor, and it actually played pretty good. You know, back in the day when you used to buy your VHS tapes, even your DVDs off of the street guys, and when you got them home and they look good and they sound good, you was like, oh, that's good. I'm gonna go back to him. So that's you know, the quality of the movie, the sound and the picture and everything, as long as you ain't see people getting up and walking across the screen, you say, okay, this is my new bootleg guy. So that was my bootleg guy for a little bit. But back to this little comparison. So both of these dogs are the same breed. They could be St. Bernard or a Great Dane. I'm not sure. Correct me in the comment section if you know which breed they are. They go about it differently. I'm going to say I enjoyed both of these equally. For me, I'm not going to say one is better than the other. But if somebody said you have to pick, for more of the horror element, I would have to go with Cujo. But for more of that thriller action type, I'm going to go with Man's Best Friend. And the reason why I say it like that is because Cujo was more or less set on the family's home, on the family farm. It didn't go no further than the family farm. Everything happened right there on the family farm. Man's Best Friend, it started in the lab. It ended up at the reporter's home. He terrorized that whole neighborhood, and then it ended back at the lab. So it was a lot more going on with Man's Best Friend. And the dog was extremely intelligent. He wasn't infected with like any kind of rabies or disease like Cujo. So he was more intelligent because he was a cross between all these different breeds. He was basically a science project. So this dog was more advanced. This dog was smarter. This dog was being bred to be a weapon or a savior, where Cujo was just basically infected by something. And it changed him. It made him basically snap and become unhinged to the point where he almost became like a horror villain, a four-legged horror villain. So I'm going to say it depends on what you're looking for in these movies, but they're both excellent. Now, to be full disclaimer, Man's Best Friend isn't cheap. Neither is Cujo. Neither one of these guys are cheap. You're not going to find either one of these in the bargain bin. And you're probably not going to find these on Blu-ray at your mom and pop store because I've only seen Cujo at one place, and that's Walmart. I also grabbed Man's Best Friend from Walmart also. Now, this Man's Best Friend is a Scream Factory. Let me see, what is that called? I think it's Scream Factory. It's a Scream Factory release. So I don't think this got an official release from the studio, but that's fine. It looked like they sold the rights to Scream Factory, or it could be Shout Factory, but it says Scream back here, so I don't think this is this is a Shout Factory release. Okay, yeah. So this is a Shout Factory release. So usually Shout Factory will buy the rights to something to put it out, and it's a really, I didn't watch it yet, but it looks really good. It looked like it's complete. There's some features back here. It's a new 2K scan from the original film element, new audio commentary, and it's got the theatrical trailer. So it's a 2K scan of the original format. This guy right here has got a new 2012 audio commentary on Cujo. So for me, I like these both equally. Neither one of them is like corny in any way, but if I had to pick one, I would go with Cujo, I think, if I had to pick one. Somebody said, D, you only have one of these. It all depends on when you catch me, though, because I would probably take The Man's Best Friend because it is very limited. You just don't see this movie a lot of places. I've never seen it on DVD. I know it's out there on DVD, but I've never seen it on DVD. Like I said before, the last time I seen this particular movie, it was on VHS. And Cujo, the last time I actually saw this, I do believe it was on a streaming service. If I'm not mistaken, I think I saw this on, it was on Amazon, but it was like a sub-service on Amazon where they got just horror. What is it called? Slithers? Shudder. Shudder. I think I saw this on Shudder. So I don't think these are going to be like common finds in mom and pop stores, Best Buy. I did get lucky and found them both on Walmart's website, not in the store. I ordered them off of Walmart.com, and they didn't come from Walmart. You know how Walmart got the marketplace, and they got different vendors. So I was able to get it from different vendors on Walmart's website. So yeah, Cujo, Man's Best Friend, movie battle. I'm going to give them both a tie because they both go about it in two different ways. Now, I know you guys aren't going to like the tie. Like when I did the Tombstone and the Wyatt Earp, Tombstone was the winner. When I did the Core versus Armageddon versus the other movies, it was a three-way battle, and I gave one the win. I can't really give one the win here because of how different they are, but how similar. Very similar, but very different. But if I had to pick one, I would probably go with The Man's Best Friend because I just think it's a little bit more limited, but I like them both. So you tell me which one do you prefer for Man's Best Friend, between Man's Best Friend and Cujo. You can't go wrong with either one. I'll be honest with you, you just can't. So that's it. That's my movie battle. Cujo versus Man's Best Friend, or Cujo versus Max. They're both fantastic films. You need to check both of them out. If you're a collector, you got to have these in your collection. So that's it. I'll catch you in the next movie battle. I'm trying to decide here. I want a little bit more community engagement. If you're watching this video and you want to see a movie battle, drop it down in the comment section and I'll see if I can put something together. Or if you want to see anything, a review on something, drop it down in the comments and we can talk about it. Now, my reviews aren't like professional reviews. I'm reviewing them like I'm one of you guys, a collector. Somebody who just saw the movie and giving you my honest opinion. I don't have this fancy clips in the background and all of that. That stuff might come if we get a little bit growth, a little bit more engagement. But if you want to see a review on something, or basically, I don't even call it a review. If you want my opinion on a movie, drop it down in the comment section. I would love to share my opinion with you guys in a video. We got another pickup coming. I'm stocking up for the next pickup. And I'll see you in the next video. We're going to do a movie nights pick probably right after this video. So shortly after this one, you'll see a movie nights pick for the upcoming week. See you in the next one.